As Prime Minister Modi embarked on a visit to ASEAN nations Brunei and Singapore, he sent Ajit Doval on a highly strategic mission to Sri Lanka. Indian National Security Advisor NSA Ajit Doval's strategic visit to Sri Lanka has rattled China. According to Financial Express report, Doval's attendance in Colombo Security Conclave has, quote, raised alarms in Beijing. The strategic contest in the resource-rich Indian Ocean region is at its peak as two nuclear-armed Asian giants, India and China, battle for influence among smaller neighbors. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval's visit to Sri Lanka for the Colombo Security Conclave is critical, as it has also brought together officials from Mauritius and Maldives. Now, China has entangled Sri Lanka in a debt trap, causing an economic collapse. CCP is also trying to woo Maldives. However, Beijing was not part of the CSC meeting. During NSA Doval's visit, the four countries, India, Sri Lanka, Maldives and Mauritius, signed an MOU for the establishment of an SCS secretariat, hinting that the group collectively aims to improve defense collaboration in the entire Indian Ocean region. No doubt China would be miffed at being ignored from the Colombo Security Conclave. During his visit, Doval also took steps to maintain New Delhi's strategic upper hand in the region by conducting high-level discussions on ramping up regional security with the member nations. Nearly 30% of global container cargo and 42% of global crude oil trade passes through the Indian Ocean, amounting to nearly 100,000 yearly passages by cargo vessels. Now, while India is keen to maintain its stance as a net security provider, China has been increasing its forays into the region in an attempt to encircle India. By attending the Colombo Security Conclave, India wishes to counterbalance the growing Chinese footprint in the area and simultaneously secure its own strategic interests in Sri Lanka and beyond. Just 3 weeks ahead of the presidential elections in Sri Lanka, NSA Doval met Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe to discuss India's bilateral cooperation in economic development and security interests in Sri Lanka. Showcasing India's deepening relations with the island nations, Doval also met national opposition leaders including Sajith Premadasa and Aruna Kumar Disayanaike, candidates vying for the country's top office. For New Delhi, President Ranil Wickremesinghe staying in power is more favorable than the pro-China National People's Power Party's Aruna Kumara Disayanaike. Doval's visit also comes just days after the docking of Indian Navy's guided missile destroyer INS Mumbai at Colombo, which coincided with the arrival of 3 Chinese warships. The Chinese naval vessels, including destroyer Hefei and 2 amphibious warships. The visit was closely scrutinized and monitored by the Indian Navy, starting from their entry into the Indian Ocean to their docking at the Colombo port. Sri Lankan authorities welcomed the warships from both India and China, who conducted separate passage exercises with the Sri Lankan Navy on the 29th of August. The visit by the formidable Indian Navy destroyer INS Mumbai to Colombo is the 8th visit by an Indian warship to Sri Lanka this year itself in 2024. According to a report by the Times of India, a defense establishment source revealed that Chinese Navy warships, including those that are part of its anti-piracy escort forces, are now staying in the IOR for much longer time than earlier, and also have the intention of establishing additional logistical facilities in the region, and such Chinese inroads pose serious security challenges for India. But it is not the first time that India has been urged by Chinese presence in neighboring countries. The presence of Chinese ships has become a main irritant in India-Sri Lanka relations in recent times. In 2023, Chinese research vessel Shi-6 conducted joint vessel research work with Sri Lankan officials during its visit to Colombo. Similarly, in August 2022, Yuan Wang 5 was berthed at southernmost Hambantota port, specializing in satellite and missile tracking among other acts of surveillance. Indian defense establishment is concerned over what oceanic data related to currents and seabed mapping, along with positioning of Indian warships, submarines and underwater sonar detectors the Chinese are getting access to. As per United States intelligence sources, China has been trying to set up additional overseas military installations and secure access agreements in Sri Lanka, Maldives, Mauritius, and of course Pakistan, which many have termed is a form of string of pearls surrounding India. As Chinese influence in this region grows manifold, India is also stepping up its military ties with Sri Lanka by providing specialized training for Lankan officers, as well as providing aid and funding. The Indian government also provided spare parts for Sri Lankan Coast Guard ship Suraksha, valued at $1.2 million as a grant. In case of Maldives, India has similar concerns given China's influence over the new Mohammad Muizzu government. Mali signed a defense cooperation agreement with China after the withdrawal of Indian military personnel who had been operating a Dornier aircraft and two advanced light helicopters for surveillance and medical evacuations, as well as providing training to Maldivian defense forces. Maldives now surprisingly admits it does not have any trained personnel to operate these aircraft anymore, yet it requested the withdrawal of Indian military personnel. However, recent indications suggest Mali cannot risk cutting ties with its largest geographic neighbor, India, with Muizzu even attending Prime Minister Modi's swearing-in ceremony for his third term in office. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar also visited Maldives last month after relations witnessed a downfall earlier this year. Muizzu government termed Jaishankar's visit as a significant milestone. Have your say. Will NSA Doval's visit enhance India's ties with Sri Lanka and Maldives, which are among India's most strategic allies? Leave a comment with your opinion and remember to hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.